Rev up your engines! Bad trends in the automotive industry that most consumers should be leery of. Now, probably numero uno from my perspective of bad technology is battery electric cars, right? The government was trying to push it on everybody. And what are people doing? We're voting with our money. Hybrid cars that have gasoline and boost battery systems, sales are going up. They're going sky high, right? Great range. If you get a good one like a Toyota Camry hybrid, RAV4 hybrid, whatever, they make Corolla hybrid. They've got a proven track record, phenomenal gas mileage, they can last a long time, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But some of this technology has gone berserko. Just get in a Tesla. See their big screen. Everything's operated on that screen. You gotta look at the screen, turn AC on and off, headlights, all kinds of things, right? Too much technology that doesn't jive with the way we are. Even Volkswagens realize that, and they said in some of our new cars, we're ditching a bunch of the push buttons on the screen and going back to regular knobs that you can push, that people are used to, that they know they're there. Now, some of this technology, yeah, it's uber complex, but if the case like this Toyota, it works okay, you may not care, but I'm a mechanic. I fix these things. And let me tell you, some of these things, the money you're going to spend unnecessarily is going to make your head spin. For example, this 2017 Toyota Tacoma has a plain 4-cylinder, non-turbocharged engine. It's not a race truck, but it's a great work truck. I've seen some of them with 500,000 miles or more on. But as of 2025, the Tacomas in the United States only come with turbocharged 4s. I'm not a fan of turbocharged 4-cylinder engines, or most turbocharged gasoline engines. It's okay with diesels, that's another story. But all a turbo does is it spins with exhaust gas, 100,000 plus RPMs. The other end of it rams air into the engine to increase the compression inside the engine and give you more power. The more pressure in the engine, the faster it's going to wear out. Not only do the turbos wear out themselves, that extra pressure wears the engine out earlier. And generally, the smaller the engine, the faster it's going to wear out. In Europe, Ford had a bunch of these tiny 3-cylinder turbo gas engines. They had them blow up all over the place. It was a dismal failure. Thank goodness they didn't put them in the Broncos. Originally, they were saying they were going to put them in the Broncos, but to my knowledge, they didn't put any of those 3-cylinder turbos, and they only have 4-cylinder turbos, which is bad enough. It used to be out of choice. You could get a Tacoma with a regular 4-cylinder engine, or you could get it with a V6. This isn't a work truck, it's a play truck. It can go off-road in it, can tow stuff. He bought it because it is the last Tacoma they sold in the United States that had a beautiful V6 engine, regular, not turbocharged. Now the only thing you can get on these Tacomas is a turbocharged 4. Either a turbocharged 4 or a turbocharged 4 with a hybrid system put on top of it. And the bizarre thing is, just like the Toyota Tundras that went from a normal V8, no turbo, to only V6 turbos, and now they got to replace over 100,000 engines. Turbo Ford Tacomas are having problems. Of course, part of it here in the United States is all the Tacomas now are coming from Mexico. They used to build a bunch of them in San Antonio. Now they're making them all in Mexico. Who knows? Maybe if the Trump tariffs come into effect and make things change, maybe they'll move the production of the Tacomas from Mexico back into San Antonio, Texas. Now you might think, why are they building smaller turbocharged engines to replace bigger non-turbo ones, right? They say, oh, it's government regulations, blah, 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 blah. What it really comes down to is the smaller engines are cheaper to manufacture. Just like one of my most hated CVT transmission, the constantly variable transmissions, cheaper to make, they get a little bit better gas mileage, but they don't last as long. But interesting enough, the smarter companies, right, they're still using regular geared transmissions. They cost more to make, but they're still using them in their higher end cars, right? I'll give you a perfect example. The Nissan Pathfinder. When they started putting CVTs in that relatively big vehicle, they were going out all the time. I had one customer went through 3 of them in 100,000 miles. Take the Toyota competitor that's much better than the Pathfinder, Toyota Highlander 2024. You could still get a regular geared transmission that has regular gears in it. not a CVT. And one of the reasons I still have real geared transmission is because they're more expensive. It's a market that they want to keep because they make more profit on the more expensive vehicles. So they don't want their customers going somewhere else because, oh, I hate that CVT. It's bleh. I like a real shifting transmission. So they keep them more. Now they cost more money to build, but the vehicles cost more money. As long as people buy them, guess what? They'll keep making them. But if everybody goes out and starts buying fancier ones with CVTs and say, oh, that's good enough for me, guess what? That's all they'll end up building. You don't want to encourage crap. But of course, when you think about it, a lot of manufacturers, hey, they don't want it to hold up over time too long. They want you to keep buying another one. Planned obsolescence has been out for a really long time. Even my wife's 2002 Lexus has it. Look, see all the chips? All the chips on the bumper, you can see them. They're all over the place. And in the sun, it looks horrible. You see all the chips coming off the bumper because the bumper's a plastic cover. At least it has chrome door handles. Hey, even though they are plastic, they're pretty well made. The manufacturers want you to look at their car and say, oh, look, my car's looking ugly. When I was a kid, they made them out of metal, chromed them. They lasted forever if you didn't smash into things. Or if you didn't live up north, they put salt will eventually eat it up, of course. But that's nothing but pure planned obsolescence. Oh, it'll look ugly. They'll go buy another car. Hey, just what we want. And as for the door handles, even with Toyota, cheap plastic. I've had to replace 1, 2, 3, 4, all of them, because the plastic broke. Eventually you pull it, and this thing breaks off here. I got it locked, so it won't open now, but it's just a stupid design. They used to make these things out of metal. They last forever. And then, of course, in my son's new Tacoma, look, not only is it plastic, but it's painted. It's going to fade. If it breaks, you have to have them repainted. You can't just go like I did with my Matrix. You just bought them online. I got Dorman ones. They actually last longer than the Toyota ones did. If you buy them, then you have to have it painted. Yeah, good luck finding somebody who's going to best paint a door handle, right? And then it won't match, right? It's just cheapness. Hey, chrome them, Toyota. At least chrome plate them. They look good, you know? But no, they got to paint everything. And the plastic bumpers, oh look, it looks mean and strong. No, it isn't. It's just a cheap plastic cover, right? And it's a truck. It's going to look raunchy after a while. But of course, that's just the beginning. You can watch my whole video on plastic craps and cars that I made years ago. Only it's even worse now. And of course, I hate these beauty covers. Stupid plastic beauty covers, right? Look at them. But you notice something new on the newer ones. Insulation. And you might think, insulation, what's that on a beauty cover? Well, it serves one main purpose that makes sense. It's insulation. So the engine will sound quieter. All this fancy variable valve and GDI fuel injections are just louder than the older ones were. So they want to insulate it so you don't hear the noise, right? You hear that level noise? This thing's only got 13,000 miles on it. Now listen to the older 4-cylinder, non-GDI fuel-injected engine in this Tacoma. You notice it doesn't have as many ticky noises, but it's got 80,000 miles, and the newer one's only got 13,000 miles on it. The engines are getting louder and louder, and if you want, the loudest one I ever heard was one of those stupid, they called it the Ram ProMaster City, right? Guy brought me one, it had 8,000 miles. Take it. Guy took it back to the dealer. They said, oh, that's the noise they make. Now, it may be the noise they make, but that's not right. The more noise an engine makes, noise comes from friction. But a turbo engine like that, generally, it's not going to wear out until after the warranty's up. Right? I mean, if you're leasing one, what do you care? You don't even own the car. But if you want to keep a car for years and hundreds of thousands of miles, a gasoline turbo is not the way to go. Like I said earlier, diesels, another story. High compression engines, they have to be built stronger. They can take extra pressure. They have diesel fuel, which is a lubricant. Gasoline is caustic. The gasoline washes away lubricants. The diesel is actually a lubricant itself. So, completely different ballpark. But for gasoline cars, my advice is stay away from turbochargers. And unfortunately, they're putting the turbochargers in many of the cars. So here's my advice. And many of you people that come visit me say, thanks, Scotty. I took your advice. I bought this because I had a choice between a turbo and a non-turbo in the same vehicle. I bought the non-turbo. I'm totally happy with this. Many people are not race car drivers. Hey, 18-year-old Matrix, it still does 80 on the highway all day long, no problem. It's not a race car, but it's got plenty enough get up and go. You don't need to put a turbocharged engine in it. Now, another thing that I see as a big step backwards is many new cars don't come with spare tires. Hey, what's up with that? Now, see inside the trunk of my wife's Lexus, we'll get some of the stuff out of the way. It actually has a full-size spare, and it's even the same fancy alloy wheel that's on the outside, right? But fast forward to 2007 from 2002, and the Matrix, I'm not taking it apart, but under here, it's just one of those stupid fake donut spare tires, those little bitty ones. And sure, when you put it on, it tells you you're only supposed to drive 50 miles an hour or whatever limit your car says, because it's sitting kind of weird, different tread, right? My advice with that is, if you do have one of those donut spares, let's say you have a front-wheel drive car, like the Matrix. No matter where your flat tire is, let's say your flat tire's in the back, and you're gonna put the donut on, do it. But if your flat tire's in the front, my advice is take a back tire, put it on the front, and put the donut tire on the back, because this is front wheel drive. You would want the drive and steering wheels to be the exact same size. That's most of the control of the vehicle, right? But many cars today don't come with any spares at all. They come with an air pump and a tire kit to fix tire. If a nail or something gets in it, often you can't fix them anyways. A piece of glass hits and rips a shred, right? So you're stranded SOL with no spare tire. The manufacturers will even say, well, you know, you can buy a spare that we can put in there, blah, blah, blah. You just paid, on average in the United States, $55,000 for a new car. You don't even get a spare tire, then they say, well, you can buy one extra. This is nonsense. We should all stop accepting it. If they do offer one saying you're throwing that spare tire in, or I'm not buying the car. And if enough people say that, guess what? They'll start putting the spare tires back in. Even if they're only donuts, it's better than nothing. Now, one of the absolute worst inventions on modern car is the removal of the gas cap and replacing it with a capless system. Here's a capless system replacement for a Ford. So, instead of buying just the gas cap when it goes bad, which doesn't cost that much money, you gotta buy this whole stick assembly. As you can see, you have to take a lot of things apart to replace this. Sometimes you even have to drop the gas tank. Dumbest idea on earth. Oh, look what it says. It says, easy fuel, gasoline, no gas cap, right? Well, gas caps wear out, so do these stinking things. Then you gotta replace all this part. Now, originally this was a racing design, okay? It makes sense in a race. They don't want to spill gasoline, have to take a cap off, put it on, and just stick it in, fill it up. Fine and dandy. After the race, they often replace many of the parts anyway. For a normal car, it's just plain stupidity, planned obsolescence, and ripping you off. You know, it's patently absurd. You gotta replace all this instead of a simple cap. Who was the idiot who made this? Probably the same ones who in GM predicted years ago, we're gonna be a software company, we're gonna make billions of dollars selling car software to the people buying our cars. And then what later happened? GM fired a bunch of their software engineers because they found out if an American is going to buy the average new car, which is like $55,000, and they don't get to use everything in the car, but they have to pay extra for software subscriptions. American said a few weeks ago, guy brought me an almost new Lexus. His wife liked the way it looked, the color, the leather seats, but he hated it and he told me I wish I hadn't bought it. Because instead of having a marvelous V6 engine like my wife's old 2002 Lexus, it had a turbo 4-cylinder engine, and he hated the noise it made, the way that it accelerated with the turbo, that it was uneven, it didn't have the nice torquey feel of his old Lexus that was a V6 engine that was smooth and quiet. Now, if we as consumers just accept all the crap they throw at us, guess what? They're gonna make more crap. They'll make even more crap. Look at Ford. They tried a tiny little 3-cylinder turbo in Europe. It was a massive failure. Engines kept blowing up. Hey, you don't buy it, they won't build them. And I know car manufacturers follow each other like sheep. Look at when Lexus came out with that scowling mouth front end. like screaming from Home Alone, right? They all followed and made these ugly vehicles that look like crap, right? But they all follow each other like sheep. So don't be like them. Do not be a sheep. Tell them, I'm not buying it because I don't want this turbocharged engine. I knew that there were a lot of people who wanted smaller pickup trucks, right? Ford Motor Company hit the nail on the head building the Ford Maverick for a small pickup truck, 4 doors, front wheel drive, rides more like a car. Now, they are making them in Mexico, and I think that was a gigantic mistake. Who knows? Maybe that'll change. Ford did that. Everybody saw they're selling a bunch of them. Now, everyone else is planning smaller pickups because they see they're selling a whole bunch of those because people want them. My customers for decades have told me, Scotty, I wish they'd make a smaller pickup truck. I don't need this big monstrosity. I'm just using it to go to the garden center to move stuff around. I'm not hauling cars. I'm not bringing 2 tons of concrete to my house. You know, I'm not doing it. I would like a small truck. Ford was smart in building it. Like I said, not too smart building it in Mexico, but that's another story. Do not just say, well, you know, they didn't have what I really want, so I'll buy this. No, hold out. Look at different manufacturers. If you have a choice of turbo versus non-turbo, get the non-turbo. You have a choice between CVT and a regular geared automatic transmission, get a regular geared one. Then they'll continue to make them and learn a little bit more about vehicles. That's why I make these videos, to educate people about what's out there so they know. I had many people bring me cars that said, do you know you got the best engine they ever made? Said, oh, I don't know, I just bought it because I liked it, right? My videos will save you an awful lot of money and grief. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.